Hi, I'm Phil Qualman, Superintendent of Eagle County School District. Lately, I've been visiting schools to speak with teachers and staff to reinforce our mission and learn how things are going in classrooms. With Wednesdays as the best meeting day at most schools, this process is taking a lot longer than I like. And I have important messages to convey, so I'm recording this video in order to reach you sooner and more directly. First, I'd like to reiterate our goal for this school year: safely keep as many students in school for as long as we can. To provide some perspective on how safely we are reaching that goal, I'll share some numbers on the impact of COVID-19 on our school system. As of November 12th, we have 17 students or staff members who are currently positive for COVID-19. That is 0.2% of our total students and staff. We have 453 students and staff members who are currently quarantined, which is about 6%. That means we're able to provide in-school teaching and learning for about 94% of our students and staff. Since March, we've been on a roller coaster of emotion, with more lows than highs. We know that our students have felt that uncertainty at home as well as at school. The school experience has been upended for students and staff, but to your credit, you have provided a huge sense of normalcy by allowing students to come to school and learn in classrooms. Data and practical experience reinforce that students do better academically and emotionally when they can come to school. That is why we set the goal to safely keep as many students in school for as long as we can. This goal does not mean that ECSD will fight tooth and nail to be the last man standing, regardless of the data and practical challenges that come with keeping schools open in the face of a pandemic. We are not blinded by optimism bias or the wishful thinking that we can power through obstacles at any cost. Our plan allows us to stay open where we can, provide continuity of learning to as many as possible for as long as it remains safe and operationally manageable. That leads me to the key performance indicators, or as Colorado Public Health calls it, the COVID-19 Dial Dashboard. The Ville Daily published a story on Wednesday that shot a hole in our community confidence. It published a graphic that showed most of the state in red and ran a sensational headline. The story did as much to increase our collective anxiety dial as it did to remind us to be more vigilant about our behavior. I'd like to take a minute to review the KPI and provide some perspective. At the risk of feeling like Ron Burgundy, I'm going to transition to the screen. As of 1 p.m. on Friday, November 13th, 1:30 p.m., Eagle County is in yellow. You can see us right here in yellow. We have been in yellow for several weeks and have recently seen a steady uptick in disease spread. If you click on Eagle County, the map shows 3 areas that combine to create the total index score. First is the cumulative incident rate. This has grown steadily for several weeks and we're now in the red zone. That's right here. This represents the total number of people per 100,000 who have tested positive in the last 2 weeks. So remember, this is not an actual number, but a ratio. Our actual number would be half of this, since the population of Eagle County is about 50,000, and this ratio is based on 100,000. This is the map that the article ran on Wednesday, and prompted many to ask, if we're in red, why aren't we shutting down? Our plan to shut down in red is tied to the overall status of the dial, not the readings of the subcategories. So next we'll move to positivity rate. This is the percent of people who test positive as a running 2-week average. Today the rate is about 8% and in yellow, meaning our positivity rate is not too bad. The last indicator represents hospitalizations due to COVID. This is low in Eagle County, but has climbed a bit in recent days. These 3 factors combine to create the overall dial. What the article showed on Wednesday is this map, which shows most of the state in red. They failed to show the map of the other metrics, and we'll show the map of our 2-week average positivity rate right here, where Eagle County remains in yellow, and finally, decreasing or stable hospitalizations, which most of the state is in green. My point here is not to marginalize the incident rate. It's not good, and we need to work to bring that number down. My point is to show that media, and especially social media, accentuate sensational details, and highlight alarmist information, which forces us to be more critical consumers of information. To borrow from Home State Peak School, we are crew, not passengers. We can't be passive participants in someone else's narrative, or on the emotional yo-yo of Facebook folly and keyboard crusaders. We have to be clear-eyed crew in this process and control our narrative with our own data. To that end, be assured that our district plan is anchored to a single word in our current goal: safely. Keep as many students in school for as long as we can. Today, we will likely see Eagle County shift into orange on the KPI. Our plan allows for schools to operate if it is safe and operationally manageable to do so. If not, we are prepared to go remote on a moment's notice. We did this at VSSA in recent weeks. We had about half the students and several staff members quarantined, and it was not operationally manageable to continue in-person instruction. Take this as evidence that we are ready, willing, and able to transition to remote. The decision to shift a school to remote learning lies with the Board of Education. It is made after extensive collaboration between myself, the school principal, the Teachers Association, and Public Health. In coming weeks, expect some grade levels in your school to go remote. Expect some schools to go remote. This is anticipated, so don't be alarmed when it happens. It's the expected outcome of our goal to safely keep as many students in school for as long as we can. In making the decision to go remote, the KPI is an important metric, but not our only metric. We're also monitoring the following. And you can pause here if you want to read all these, but I'm going to move on. The point is that we're following a lot of additional indicators in our system. We're also mindful of the second-order impact of quarantine closures on our ability to effectively manage schools. In other words, when we close cohorts in preschools, it affects other teachers in the district whose children must quarantine. We lose staff every day who have to stay home with their children who have been quarantined. Since August, we've managed 46 separate incidents of school or cohort level quarantine, and only one was determined to be school spread. This means our layers of protection are working. Our efforts to social distance and maintain smaller cohorts have limited disease spread in our schools. As we move into the orange zone, I'm confident our schools are safe places to teach and learn. I'll be in classrooms and riding school buses in coming weeks because I know that our systems are working. I won't ask you to do anything that I would not be willing to do myself. We are the right people doing the right job at the right time. Our organization is focused on the right balance of hearts and minds and making sure every student is taken care of in whatever instructional mode we use. Give yourself some grace if you are not covering the content at the rate you usually would. Give yourself some grace if the management of online and in-person students isn't as effective as you know it can be. We are doing something unprecedented. The community voted 73% yes on 5B, which tells me they are grateful for everything you have done and will continue to do. Know that we're using objective data to make our decisions. All along, we have made decisions based on current data that are right for our community. We listen to staff, principals, public health, and parents in making our decisions. Thank you for continuing to provide exceptional learning opportunities to our students.